Hey guys, and welcome back to my fish room. It's been a while since I've had anybody come through for a tour or something like that. Uh, if this is your first time here, welcome. Uh, there's a couple of tours of my fish room done by Blake from Blake's Aquatics and also by Nat of Finfinity. Uh, for those that don't know, I'm Australian based in Victoria up in the Dandenong Ranges. Um, Basically, my fish rooms come to a precipice, I suppose, for a lack of a better term. It's about to evolve. It's gone from a hobby room into something that I think that I foresee possibly being a small earner for me in the future. My breeding techniques and the like have increased, and some of the fish that I've been doing, I suppose, paying dividends to see my hobby and also the room better itself. So I suppose if I was to look at myself as a hobbyist, as I've said in the past, I'm a collector, and the basis of that is the fact of that is that when you're a collector, you can't have enough tanks. But if you're a breeder, you need grow out space, and that's something that I don't have. And I strive to do it when I did a reiteration and a redevelopment of this room uh, in the not too distant history, but I failed. I fell over and ended up with a whole lot more species in tanks that were supposed to be grow outs. Hopefully you'll come along with me for the journey as I build Fish Room 2.0 and also revisit this room. Once that fish room's completed, which is right next door, I hope that I can revisit this room and turn it into a more productive environment. Uh, let's go. Okay, this is my fish room. It's a outbuilding away from the house that used to be a farm shed housing tractors and the like, and when we moved here turned it into a hobby room. So I had a workshop here, and my partner, she had her art studio in the one next door. So as soon as you open the door to my fish room, got a rack of three 90 centimetre tanks, 3-foot tanks. They are just for display purposes really, or grow out of species. The top one is a cichlid tank, which was a friend closed down his tank, didn't want it in the house anymore and couldn't bear to take them back to a shop, so I said I'd look after them. Middle one's a bit of a catch-em-all with lots of tetras in there, like watermelon tetras, the blueberry tetras. There's some panda barbs. There's also a red-finned pseudomugil signifer in there that I got last night. The bottom there is simply betta pugnax and some loaches and super red ancestris. But anyway, to the right was a workbench. It's turned into a breeding projects location, and what was to be a fry rack is now a fancy betta grow out. I don't like keeping fancy bettas in these little tanks, but sometimes if you're not sure if male or female, you do have to separate them just to prolong their longevity. And the results of that is that I get to choose which fish I want to proceed with breeding and extend the lines, which are these two little tanks in the polystyrene containers. This system's all hooked up to another rack that's just there on the left of your screen, and all run on one sump. This rack here was to be grow out, but in usual form I have turned it into basically a different species in every cell, and it's not much of a grow out. There are some guppies in here that are growing out, which is great. Also some swordtails, gunthri swords, different shrimp, Neocaridina shrimp, which is pretty much a reflection, as I spin you around, of this side, which is the sump and system that I was talking about with the fancy bettas. So we've got blue dream shrimp, fishbone shrimp, orange-eyed blue tigers, reds, orange, yellow, you name it, I've got it there. Just trying to get numbers up. I do sell them at our local club, and if you're not aware, I just happen to be the current president of the Aquarium Society of Victoria, which has been an ongoing pleasure to be a part of. We've really committed to the club and moving and shaking with our efforts. This side here is a bit of a 2-foot rack. They've all got Matten filters on the back, all run by air, and every single tank is a different species of fish. It was supposed to be my grow outs, but not to be. This is the reason, as I said, as to why I need to extend my fish room, because as you breed all of these fish, you need space to grow them out. Point in fact, Pelvochromis sylvae fry in the tank up here with the moss, Pelvochromis sylvae parents down here, and if I can catch them there, they have a ton of fry. I only noticed this as I walked in this morning, and they had their first feed of baby brine shrimp. Pelvochromis sylvae are the best parenting fish. But more of the fish later. This is just a quick run through so I can explain what I'm doing. Alright, as we come around the corner and you see more mess, this is my wild betta rack. There's also some dwarf cichlids in there. Around the corner, up high on the left, is a lot of wild bettas. So the small species like Api, Branorum, Betta hendra. I've been very good with the hendras, so hopefully I can again share some of those around. A few people are asking already. This rack here in its entirety, the two rows there are all 2-foot tanks, and they're quite low in their height, but during COVID, that was pretty much all I could get. This rack was built in COVID period of time, and I'm not super happy with it, but it served its purpose till now. And as a collector, there's 18 tanks, 18 species, well, more than 18 species to be fair, in this space, because some of these tanks have more than one species. Point in fact here with the Arcuatus and the Similis. You'll notice maybe little things flitting around. There'll be pseudomugals. There's some Gertrudae in there. You know, I need space. I need space. On this side, up top, again, supposed to be grow outs, but turned into a hillstream breeding project, a platinum blue ram breeding project, some rainbows needing to find a new home. The tank's further down towards the old air conditioner here, housing a beautiful pair of koi angels and their fry. They've had 3 successful batches of fry, and this third batch is just significant. There are so many babies in here, and I'm trying to raise them all so that I can share the good genetics around, hopefully, most of Victoria. More grow outs down in this 4-foot by 4 division tank, but also I have some red lizard whiptails and some other random fish for the purposes of breeding at some point in time. Corydoras grow outs, soon to be moved into bigger tanks, and right down the bottom we've got an L number tank, and there's only 397s and 333s in there at this stage. Once I get the new fish room going, I'm hoping to get a few more L numbers, but it's not my focus. I've always been a soft water, acidic sort of a keeper, and of the smaller fish variety. This is a baby sink and my brine shrimp hatchery area. We all need that if we're breeding fish. I hatch brine shrimp every day, and feed out twice a day. These small tanks here are because I could just fit them here. No other reason other than there was a blank space of wall. I had these small tanks, so I plumbed them in all into the same system as these Coreodoros, and I keep a lot of organic matter in there. There's like banksia cones and banana palm, just in order to add that bit of bioloading to the tanks and give the fish a little bit of mulm. If I ever need an old leaf or something for fry to feed off, that's where I'll take it from. There's some betta rubra down there in the bottom. The lights are off here because I've had a malfunction of one of the transformers, but these are all, you'll have to take my word for it, different species of Coreodoros or Hoplosoma or Osteogaster or Gastrodermis, Aspidoris, you name it, they're here. If I find a new one, I'm pretty much trying to jump all over it. Betta hendra, as I said, parent tank is here. And these 3 other tanks that I have all got fry in them at different varying sizes. Their last batch, like the angels, was the most successful. Looking back to where we've just come from, this is my poor man's version of Dean's fry rack, which needs a bit of a reiteration because I put in some royal whiptail catfish into this base tank, and they've been spawning quite readily. I've grown up and shared out quite a few now. The occasional fry does escape though, because we've got some Coreodoros that have managed to manipulate their way into the hardscape down there, and has become quite the issue. So it won't be long and I'll be ripping the hardscape out and catching as many cories as I can out. But in the meantime, it's looking after some fry, so it'll have to wait. Some gold lasers in here, Coreodoros Aeneas gold lasers, all sorts of different cories in this little tray, hard to see I'm sure, and then another batch of koi angels in this fry tray. Lowell's fry trays, what a fabulous guy he is for sharing his knowledge and also his little engineering prowess there. They're the old version and printed by a friend of mine and given to me, which I can't thank him enough for. Thank you, Justin. They've come in quite handy and have been a reason for my success in raising quite a lot of cories, to be fair. Covered off the tanks up the top. My heel streams have not produced for me yet. I'm feeling like it's because I haven't produced them enough water changes. This, my hot corner, again, is a lot of very dwarf style of wild bettas. The wild bettas such as Chinoides, there's betta rubra, betta api, betta jade green. They all like it pretty warm, so this corner seemed to be the one that was wearing most of the heat, especially when the wood fire was running. And I've had a good deal of success in breeding different species of wild bettas. They're very much here in Australia a fish that needs some species maintenance. There's not many people keeping wild bettas, and hopefully through my videos and some of the others we might be able to increase the want. Some little ponds down here on the bottom, some little ponds down here at the bottom have got some Nigropinis in them, which is a killifish, and they're just over summering down there on the cold concrete. Hopefully they make it through, because there's not many of those left in Australia, and there's only my 3 varieties there, RK99, Sanjay Missions, and I think the other one there is Camaquensis. But in any case, thanks to Matt's the other day for his Dichrosis filamentus. He sent me some juvenile fish, and I'm hoping to get them going as well. And what's behind door number 2, you ask? This will be location of Fish Room 2.0. Beautiful Rainbows of New Guinea poster. But this here, this open space is soon to be ripped apart. So at the moment it's floating floors without concrete, plasterboard that's filthy because we've ripped everything out. This was covered in art and has been left open and to the air. Again, 5x4 in essence, and it's going to be my new fish room. The intentions are that I keep the windows and I double insulate them, run cool room paneling, automatic water changes and drainage, concrete the floor with a drain system inside in case of spillage or something similar, and to utilise most of the tanks in this area as grow out or larger fish. So I've already obtained 13 4-foot by 18-inch tanks with side filters in them, and I'll be having to build racks to match. I want to take the time and show you guys who are watching the progression, and also take your advice on board, because I don't know it all and never profess to. So any advice or comments that you can provide me in respect of the room and the layout is going to be very, very beneficial. As you can see, the fish room through there and this wall, I'm hoping to knock out as much of it as I can so I can access the back of that other rack, albeit this will be a frame, but I'll strengthen it in that wall. And yeah, so it's going to be an exciting time. My intentions again is to run a split system in here and ensure that the room, as you can see, it's just a lot of natural light in here at the moment. I wouldn't have to run lighting, unless it's specific to a tank. But my intentions is not to. Just use the natural light that's coming through the windows and make something good out of it. The fact that it's removed from the house, and I'm going to be running, cooling panels, freezer panels for walls and roof, hopefully, just means that, there's no humidity concerns for the house or alike. A very lucky boy I am. All right, so hopefully my 2026 is a new 50% upgrade on the fish room as it is currently, and a more, I suppose, efficient room with greater technology, better drainage systems, not so much waste, and larger tanks for better grow out, less collecting. But yeah, I want you to come with me, and hopefully if you've been through the process and built your own room or something like that, you might be able to help me avoid some of the pitfalls that tend to pop up. This first fish room was a little bit off the back of COVID. I had probably 20 tanks in here, which turned into 150 tanks. Well, not 150 tanks, but 150 separate compartments. Some of these 4-foot tanks are divided in 3 and 4. So it all adds up, but I want to make this my hobby, and I want to make it profitable for me as far as maintaining it, and share the information with you all, share the fish with all our locals and the club members at ASV, and even ANGFA, the Australian New Guinea Fish Association. Went to their meeting last night. They had an auction, and it's great to see some beautiful fish coming out of our country and being shared around the world. So hopefully you're going to enjoy the comment. Hopefully you'll enjoy the content, and I'll see you on the next one.